Hello and welcome to Sincerely Elvis Presley. I'm Sean. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. For the second time in as many weeks, I'm going to dedicate my usual Sunday slot to an unboxing. And this is an unboxing I've really been looking forward to, so I hope you're going to enjoy it. Before I do the unboxing, I just want to talk a little bit about the concept of Elvis news, and you'll see why. If you're anything like me, you want to know what's going on in the Elvis world as soon as it's announced, as soon as it's released, as soon as it's possible. You know, what's coming out, what's been announced, whatever. I like to kind of know on the minute, especially when it comes to releases that are likely to be highly in demand and sell out fast. You know, the sooner you get to know about it, the sooner you can click that order button, can't you? Pre-order button or whatever. And if you're anything like me, there are two main sources of that information as far as I'm concerned, and that's one, the Elvis Information Network website, and two, Elvis Day by Kees Mouwen. And you know, both of those give you up to the minute news that I don't think anything else can compete with. I see channels on YouTube calling themselves Elvis News, and when I watch the videos, it's always a bit of a disappointment to me, because I'm kind of thinking, this is weeks old, you know, this isn't news. The very nature of news is that it's new, not old. But you do see some people kind of peddling news as stuff that's gone on over the last 2 or 3, 4 weeks, which it's a summary of stuff, but I wouldn't call it news. Whereas the two websites that I've just talked about definitely are news services. Now, I want to talk specifically about Elvis Day by Day and Kees Mouwen. Kees was involved in another Elvis website some way back called Elvis News that I used to look at regularly back in the day, and I'm sure a lot of you did. Now, in 2010, Kees went his own way and developed the Elvis Day by Day website. So he's been doing this a long time. You know, he's been involved in Elvis information for an awful long time. And back in 2019, he decided, well, it wasn't in 2019 that he decided it, but in 2019, he released his first book, Elvis Day by Day, which was a summary of everything that had happened in the year prior to it being released, because it comes out early in 2020. You can't do a retrospective of a year unless it's happened, really, can you? But what those that Day by Day and the subsequent Day by Day books do is that they not only show you everything that's been announced news-wise the year before, but they go into a lot more detail. You start seeing in-depth reviews of key releases and key things throughout the year. And it's a funny thing, you know, when people say a certain phrase or something to describe something, and you think, yeah, that's spot on, and you hear it repeated a lot, and you think, I know exactly what they mean. And with Kees's books, a lot of people, when they first encounter the concept of, well, this is a summary of what happened the year before, kind of think, what's the point of that? And I did. I thought exactly the same thing. And it wasn't until I think I came across the books, probably, I want to say probably 2020 or 2021, there or thereabouts, when I started building the collection back up again. And they came to my attention, and I thought, you know, oh, it's a summary, but so what kind of thing? I've already seen the website. But I can't remember where I saw somebody hold up a physical copy. I really can't remember it. But when I saw it and saw a few pages of it, and the way it was designed, the way it was laid out, and the depth of information it had, you know, it wasn't just a listing by any means, I thought, I'm in. And that was when I got my first one, and I've got them every year since. Now, the first one came out in 2019, but Kees did go back and issue a 2018 one, because he's got all the information of what happened going back to 2010 when he started his site. So I think his eventual aim is to go all the way back to when he started, but that's some feat, especially as he's producing the books each year anyway. So what I've got here is something very special. and it's Elvis Day by Day 2017. So what Kees has done is he's gone back to the 40th anniversary of Elvis's passing, which, you know, those anniversary years always bring out a lot of momentous releases, don't they, to mark the occasion. But he's gone back and he has produced a day by day of 2017, the 40th anniversary year. Now, this book, you know, I'm about to see it for the first time and I'm really looking forward to it, but I have to give you the full disclosure. Kees has provided me with this copy to look at and to do an unboxing of. So you need to be aware that it's not something that I've paid for, but as ever, I will show no bias whatsoever. Now, I've seen them from 2018 onwards up until 2024, and I've loved every one of them. So I expect to be impressed with this as well. But let's get it open, and I want to really show you what these books offer in case there's something you haven't seen. I have been an advocate of them before. I did a live stream in January this year with Mark on Mark's Elvis for Everyone channel. And I had the 2024 edition that just arrived, and I remember saying at the time how great I thought they were. Because another thing that these always say is that, you know, you may... I think they said something along the lines they should come with a health warning, because you may see things you didn't know existed. You may learn more about things that you might have passed on and think, I need to add that to the collection. So here we go. Elvis Day by Day 2017. What a fantastic cover. And these are all pretty weighty volumes, you know. We're not talking about thin old books. But I want to really give you a flavour of what these are going to give you. But let's have a look at the front. It says 40th Anniversary Edition, remembering Elvis Presley 1977 to 2017 with all his smash hits from 2017 and more on 475 fully illustrated pages, including in-depth reviews by fans and experts from around the world, with a foreword by Paul Sweeney, no less. Now, in-depth reviews by fans and experts from around the world. And another full disclosure, there's also one by me. I was rather flattered that Kees invited me to submit a review to this. And in doing so, I really appreciated what a difficult task it must have been for him to go back, because when the Elvis Day by Day website does feature some reviews, but there are more reviews in the books than you'll ever see on the websites. And just from my experience of trying to write a review from the perspective of being in 2017 and not having the knowledge of stuff that's happened since was really difficult. So, you know, hats off to Kees for doing that across, you know, and anyone else that's done one for this, because it's not as easy as just looking back over the last year and reviewing what happened. Trying to go back as if you were there at the time is a bit challenging. But let me show you what I mean by the graphic design of this book and this series of books. So what you're going to see in here, look, there we go. Like, the first page I've opened is the FTD Rebel with a Cause book, and that'll give you an idea what I mean about the graphic design of these books. They all sort of use the feel and the artwork of the release, whatever it might be that they're talking about, and incorporate that into the page and into the review. So it really does bring it to life. It's it's really, really well done. So, you know, you've got I don't think that is a review, actually. Now that I've seen that, I think that might have just been when they announced it, because that one particular one isn't a review. So there you go. You know, you're getting all that artwork, and that isn't even the review. Let me really. I want to really show you what I mean, because this is a year when loads of stuff came out, and I'm guessing, yeah, these are just for when they were announced. So when Amiga, like the Amiga International Import label, announced the January 2018 release of new deluxe 9 CD box set, and this was the Elvis on Tour box set. But you see the artwork from there, and this is just going through what was detailed on the site when they were announcing things. But let me show you what I mean with an actual review and just show you the depth that you're going to get. So there we go, Bicentennial Show, the FTD CD release. And you get the same layout with all of them. So you get an intro, then it talks about the design, then you see in depth about the content, and then we go over onto another page and we get more on the content, and then we get an overall conclusion. Now that one particularly doesn't show you what I mean as such about the artwork, but you can see what I mean on the next page. So we then get FTD Classic Album Series Kissing Cousins, and you start off, even the fact that it's reflecting the colours, the colour scheme of the sleeve, and you get the same format, you get the design, you get the content. Then it goes over there and you've got a great close-up, still reflecting those colours. And then when we get to the conclusion at the end, more of the artwork reflecting it. And that theme carries through. That's how a lot of the book look. When you get into the bigger articles, you know, the graphic design is always reflective of the release itself. And I just think it's beautiful. I really do think it's beautiful. Let me show you, like Moody Blue at 40. And when we get over here, see what I mean? You know, they're not just flat pages. The kind of design becomes part of the page. I think it's beautiful, and the depth. You know, the health warning, if you like, that comes with them saying you may well see things and your list becomes so much bigger, is so true. You know, I found that, and it also helps you decide as well, because there might have been things you're on the fence of, and you know, you'll get some more information that might make you think, well, yeah, I definitely like the look of that, or no, I'm not so sure. I might not bother with that. Obviously, a review, as we know, is only ever going to be one person's opinion. So ultimately, it's up to the fan themselves to make their mind up whether it's something they want. But this is a really, really fabulous pointer towards you. You'll see things in here. You'll think, I've never heard of that. I didn't realise that had come out. It's happened to me time and time again. There's a review of the Keith Elverson Strictly Elvis Volume 1, and you'll see, like, down below you've got extracts from the pages. Again, same format, design, content. But then when you go over leaf, you know, you start seeing again that design incorporated into it. It just brings it to life, you know, in such a great way. Boy from Tupelo, I expect there's a lot on the Boy from Tupelo being such a landmark release. And I think, you know, even if it's something where, you know, some of these releases, let's face it, they're expensive. Some of them, you know, you might see some of them, it's all well and good they were in 2017, but you can't get hold of them anymore. But, you know, it's a great record of what was in them and gives you a feel for what was in them. So, yeah, I can't praise it highly enough. Now, these books, they are available from Kees' own site, populartunes.com. I'll put a link in the description. But actually, you can get them on Amazon. They are available on Amazon. And I did take a look before I did the unboxing, and you can get them from Amazon should you want them. We're back on Strictly Elvis. I've gone past Boy from Tupelo, haven't I? Finishes there. But, you know, you get the input of a lot of different perspectives, different people. Kees writes reviews himself, and there are a lot of other contributors as well. And it's not just product that's given attention. For instance, look, remembering Red West. So he passed in 2017, and you get quite an extensive tribute to him here as well. So I think, I think there's something here. Literally, I think there's something here for everyone. Look, a bit on Brewdog Elvis juice. FTD's Too Much Monkey Business. So you will see everything that happened through the year, and then certain bits are pulled out and focused on, and given a lot of attention. You will spend hours reading these if you haven't got yourself any of, and there's I guess this comes with another warning as well, because this is as good a starting place as any if you've never encountered this series. If you have encountered the series, I'm guessing you probably are aware of this and will be going for it anyway. If you're on the fence, from what I've seen, I'd definitely say yes. But if you've never encountered the Day by Day series, what a great way to start, because effectively this is the first one. Although, there have already been titles from 2018 up to 2024, because this has gone back in time. This is technically the first one, if you see what I mean. So fantastic place to start. Then we've got Paul Alner's Elvis on Record book, looked at in detail. All sort of extracts from it. Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I can't recommend this highly enough. There's nothing quite like it out there. There's nothing quite like this. I remember Kees did an interview with the EAP Society, and they were saying, and he agreed that they thought it was like almost a reboot of the old Elvis specials that the Elvis Monthly used to produce. I don't really see it like that, because they were just they didn't really give any news or any information. They were just a load of people's writings and opinions, fans' opinions. As sweet as they were, this is a different beast altogether, and for me, a much better beast. And I'm not knocking those Elvis specials, but they didn't really give anyone any information, let's be honest, other than I think sometimes they had the old couple of page list of Elvis songs and maybe chart placings, but they weren't about news, and they weren't about information, and they weren't really about reviews, I don't think, specials. By and large, not. Yeah, this is awesome. Look, Las Vegas 74, FTD. So much depth and information. And let me see if I can find, just so you can see my little contribution to this book. If I can, fantastic Ed Bonger shot I just saw. Let me just see if I can come across. I probably can't, probably won't find it. But yeah, there are some of my ramblings in here, which anyone that watches the channel will be used to my ramble. There we go. So I took a look at TV Treasures, the box set that I showed, I think when I did one of the 68 episodes, but I see a familiar little logo down the bottom there. So yeah, thanks Kees. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to contribute. One night in Toronto, Paul Sweeney, who's done the forward to the book, and his book's featured in here. I've shown that as well. Fantastic. So, again, I think I think what I'm enjoying so much about these unboxings at the moment is it's an ideal time because, again, a present for yourself or for the Elvis fan in your life, what a great little Christmas gift this would make. And as I say, it's available from Kees' own site, or you can purchase on Amazon. Fantastic. If you know, you know, and if you've never encountered it, I'd say give it a whirl. This is a great place to start. Come January, we'll be seeing the 2025 look back. And, you know, if you dip your toe in and find that this is for you, then you can carry on filling in the gaps from there. But this is such a fantastic resource, especially for collectors, because you can't clock everything. And certainly, you know, I can't remember half of what happened last year, let alone 2017. So, you know, this is to be going back through this and being able to see what came out, what I've forgotten about, what I thought, oh, I'll pick that up and I haven't. Just brilliant. So, you know, that's going to be my conclusion, that this is as good as all the other volumes that I've seen, just from what I've just looked at. But this has got an extra special little twist in that we're here in 2025, but we're talking about 2017, the 40th anniversary year. So that's a great little time capsule of that year and everything that happened Elvis wise. And that's the other thing that's mind blowing about this. When you look through any of the years, you think, you know, all this in a year, all this news, all these reviews, all these hundreds of releases on a guy that's not been with us since 1977. It's quite mind blowing. It's quite awe inspiring that, you know, year on year, there's this much stuff. There's this much stuff coming out on our man. It is quite awesome. So I highly recommend it. Get yourself a copy. You will not regret it. There you go. I hope that was interesting. I hope if you haven't seen these books, it's whetted your appetite, so to speak, because they're fantastic. And honestly, if you get yourself one of them and you haven't before, then you'll be getting one every year. I guarantee it. So thanks for watching. I think the timing, it was just right again to put this in the Sunday slot. So I really appreciate you taking the time to watch as ever. Please let me know in the comments. Do you use both of the websites I talked about as resources? If you don't, you should give them a whirl. I will put links to them both in the description as well. Have you encountered the actual day-by-day books? If you have, what do you think of them? And if you haven't, what do you like the look of what you've just seen? And is it something that's tempted you to dip your toe in? As ever, you know I love your comments. Thanks for watching. Hope you can join me next weekend. But whatever you're doing in the week, take care. Ta-da.
We'll meet you again. May God bless you. Adios.